everybody was able to come out for such an important movement right now. I've invited about 4 speakers, including myself, to speak to you today. And, we just want to make sure that the community feels heard, and also that our police understand that this isn't just about them, but it is about us being heard and us all doing a better job for our community. So our first speaker is a community advocate and a mother here in the community. So I want to invite Claire Cousin to come up.
I am someone's mother. I am someone's daughter. I am someone's friend. I am someone's advocate. I am biracial. I am conflicted. I am angry. I am sad. I am hurt, but I am hopeful. And most importantly, I'm someone's mother. I'm raising little humans who will follow my example. In recent times, I hear more often than not, when these tragedies occur, why do we have to choose a side? Or this isn't just a race thing. You're right, it's a systems thing, and some of us benefit from the system, and some of us hurt at the hands of the system. To gain common ground, we have to acknowledge where we stand in the system. And it's such a complex issue because we're failing to hold ourselves accountable. We're refusing to acknowledge that us as white people are born with prejudices and gain even more as we go through our lives. We ignore our implicit biases. As black people, we're forgetting that we do have opportunities to make real change. We have to show up in rooms that we aren't usually in. We have to see a struggling youth, hold a struggling youth, and guide a struggling youth, and see it through until they find success. It's not enough for us to give advice and keep it pushing. I won't stand here and tell you that being an advocate is easy work. It's draining. There's days where I want to end my own life because the pain of the world is so heavy, but there's people depending on my voice. And beyond being a person of color in this community, I'm a person of color with privilege. My light skin makes my message more digestible to white people. It's my duty to stand in the discomfort and the tedious conversations to get white people to listen to me, to get them to acknowledge they have an advantage in this world, to get them to understand that we're not looking for handouts, we're looking for respect. We're looking for y'all to see us hurting and give us space to heal. We want to heal so desperately. Our city is a microcosm of the world. We have all of the big city problems right here in our 8 blocks. We have racism, gentrification, gangs, drugs, poverty, health crises. The difference is that if we just took care of each other, it can change. Hudson is a special place. We know each other, we love each other. When tragedy strikes, we're always torn. We have to do better because we can. We don't have to lay down and take it because we have the option to rise and teach the rest of the nation what solidarity actually looks like. To our officers, in the crux of national unrest, we know HPD is far from the worst we could have as a police force. But you're also not perfect. We deserve and expect transparency, communication, community engagement, and accountability. We look for empathy and understanding from you guys. We will not loot and riot because our leaders are creating space for us to be heard, and that's the most important part. I love my city, I love my neighbors, and I love our youth. I'm tired of seeing people die. I'm tired of violence, I'm tired of racism and poverty, and I'm tired of hate. But I'll never give up on the place that I love, and you shouldn't either. Vote, show up, ask questions, be active. All hands on deck isn't a slogan. We live it. It's what we have believed since day one. So let's stop watching and be a part of the bigger solution.
I'm now going to ask our police chief to come up and speak. Chief Ed Moore.
Thank you, everybody. I can't speak about a lot of things. I can't speak as to why this happened in Minnesota. I can't speak to what the motivations were of this person who was wearing a uniform, because it's really hurts to call him a police officer. I can't speak as to what his record was or why he wasn't dealt with or what conditions existed to have something like this happen. The things that I can speak to is your department that serves this city. There's about 15 or so active, law enforcement officers that you see on the streets. I can speak to their training. I can speak to their minds and their hearts. And I do not see an event like this happening here in our city. I know it won't happen. I know that the things are in place, from the people we've hired to the people we've trained to how we engage with each other and what our motivations are. You know, a police officer is a noble profession. And when something like this happens, it tarnishes all the good work, and it does it rather quickly. I ask, it's an ongoing thing, and I ask for our residents' patience and understanding that we go forward from here and only improve, because that's all we can do. I thank you. It's an honor and privilege to be your police chief, and please take my assurances that this is not our heart and this is not our mind in this police department. Thank you.
I asked the police to be a part of this demonstration because silence speaks volumes, and we have to know when to hold each other accountable, and that means going behind the blue line as well. Now, I want us to hear from one of our youth who's in the social justice leadership program, Deswan.
Hey. I guess it's kind of hard for me to really articulate how I'm feeling, and I know I'm not the only one. So many people are wondering, like, why have fires and why loot and why do all this stuff? Like, what's it gonna really change? But from the way I see it is, for decades, black people and people of color have been just speaking, asking and pleading for change. But now, after being left speechless by a horrific video that we all saw, I think now we can't just simply speak, we gotta do. I guess the best way to really make an impact and show people that we matter, everybody matters, and this isn't, I feel like it's not just a race thing, it's a class thing, it's a oppression thing, and it's hard to ignore injustice when flames are right outside your door. So that's why I feel like I can speak on that. That's why people are burning and looting, because I guess we gotta destroy material possessions to really show people that what really matters is a human life.
He lied when he said he couldn't articulate it. I want to bring up another youth from Kite's Nest Social Justice Group, Kamal.
Honestly, I'm just pissed because we have to burn houses down just to show how much we care about this community. We shouldn't have to do that. People should already know that we all need justice and we all need equality. This stuff doesn't make sense because police brutality and gun violence has been a problem ever since the Africans have came to America. That shouldn't be a problem. And it's not even just that. It's also other different discrimination. We shouldn't have to fight for our rights. We should already have them. And I think that it's unfair that we have to do all this work and do all these protests and we have to all become activists because of this. But we all need to understand that we are the future and we have the capability to make a change. And we can't just wait. We have to start now or else this will keep happening. Our children, our grandchildren will be suffering the same thing that we're suffering right now. Thank you.
I just want to say, you guys are not the future, you guys are the present. And it's your time now. The supervisor, Michael Kamal, is here. I want to invite him up to speak.
Hey everybody, thanks for coming out. Desmond, Kendall, thanks for your speeches and your leadership. I really appreciate it. There's a lot of outrage right now, and for good reason. Let's listen and learn from this outrage. The murder of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor is unacceptable, but sadly, these tragedies are part of a larger pattern. A few years ago, we collectively were mourning the loss of Freddie Gray, Philando Castile, Tamir Rice, Eric Garner, Sandra Bland. Before that, 20 years ago, it was Amadou Diallo. 30 years ago, it was the beating of Rodney King. 40 years ago, it was the assassination of the Move family. 50 years ago, it was the murder of Fred Hampton. There are thousands of lesser-known people who have been murdered and victims of our racist system. We have a president who is encouraging police to assault people when arresting them. We have a host of politicians and supporters who either agree with that mindset or make excuses. But we also know that this goes much deeper than our current president. Whether it's housing or education or access to jobs or access to the financial system or healthcare or the courts, our country is systematically racist. We see it with the coronavirus, where black and brown people are twice as likely to die than others. So there's good reason to be outraged. And I have a few notes specifically to white people in the audience and to myself. We can't use this vigil to justify that things in Hudson or in Columbia County, we have it all figured out, because we don't. This vigil is not an excuse to take a so-called colorblind position. And posting on social media is good, but it's not enough. This is an opportunity to come together and collectively recommit ourselves to fighting racism, to give everyone a chance to breathe. Let's support organizations and policies that bring justice to our community. We need to fight for safe and supportive environments for young black people to grow up in our city and for black families to live here. We need better policing, and I thank you, Chief and Commissioner. You're going to lead our way, but we need to do better, and we need to do that as a community. But it's not just about policing. We need better courts, but it's not just about courts. We need to address housing policies, economic opportunity, local government budgets. We can do better, and we must do better, and we need to do it collectively. In a small community like ours, a few people can make a big difference. And here, we have a lot of people. So we can really join together and make the change that we need. So I look forward to being able to do that with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Comides. I had a request from a youth, so I don't want to turn that down. This is a day to be heard, so I would like to invite Soma.
Hello everyone, my name is Salma Ibrahim and I'm a young half Egyptian Muslim American, and I want to speak to my fellow white people and non-black people of color, and I'm going to let you all know we have to do better, okay? This country was built on the backs of slavery and genocide. And the victims have barely gotten apology. It's 2020, and every other day we hear of a new person who was killed, and it sickens me, and I am heartbroken, and I cry every day, but I'm not surprised. Why is anyone surprised? So we have to do better. I'm telling you, now is the time. We can't just post on social media and just make posters. We have to, now is the time to change, okay? Being an anti-racist isn't just an identity. It is an ongoing thing. You must work hard every day to be anti-racist, okay? We can't undo the past, but we can acknowledge it, and we can work hard so that future generations don't have to suffer what we've all gone through, what our ancestors have gone through, and what so many people go through every single day. We have to do better. We have to stand united. We have to stand in solidarity, because we can't let any more sisters and brothers, citizens of this country, be murdered in cold blood just for being black. We get so much from black culture, so much from black people, and as a other minority, I know how much the black community has done for my community. So I want to give back, and I want to let everyone know I got you, and we're here for you, and we stand with you. Thank you.
I want to bring up our police commissioner, Peter Volkman. He wrote an amazing letter, and a lot of people felt, why are we doing this here when this happened all the way in Minneapolis? But I guarantee you, every city said, this hasn't happened here until it happened. So I want to bring up our commissioner, Peter Volkman.
I look out here and I see everyone wearing a mask. Why? It's a virus that we can't see, we can't touch. It's a virus that kills others that are vulnerable, and we're not doing it just for ourselves. We're doing it for others. Everyone here is wearing a mask because of a virus that has come on our society, and we don't know how long it's going to be, and every one of us has been affected by it, whether it's financial, by losing your job, whether it's by someone dying that you know, or someone suffering. Yet, we are looking at a problem in the criminal justice system and in our society. You can't see it, you can't touch it, you can't smell it, but you can feel it. And we all feel what's going on today from a tragedy. It's really important that we come together like we did with this virus. I thank everybody for wearing a mask today. It's saving lives. If we can take that mentality and put it towards a problem we have in our society and a problem we have in communities all over America, we can make a difference today, because your little part of wearing a mask makes a difference. The question is, what can you do? What little parts can we do? So as police commissioner, I felt I needed to put something in writing, and I did. And as police commissioner, I will say on behalf of the officers, we're looking at to better ourselves. We all can do better, whether it's through training, whether it's a cultural change in law enforcement. But there's two things human beings are afraid to say that I'm going to say right here. Number one, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of tonight, of what's going to happen. I'm afraid that people's property will be destroyed. I'm afraid lives may be lost in a melee that's out of control. I'm afraid tonight, and I'm afraid in the future. And the second thing human beings are hesitant to say, I will say to you today, I need help. That's hard for us to say. It really is. But I'm going to tell you, as a police commissioner in Hudson, I need your help. I don't know how to make this better. I don't know what to do. The only thing is I can ask the community to help me. Help me. Our officers are asking, help us. Help us be better. Help us do better. but we don't have the answer. So think about what we can do tonight to come together, make the statement as we are, and defeat racism and defeat so much that is bad, and make a change like we're defeating the virus today. I just hope that we come together and we stay together. But please, I'm afraid, and I need your help. And I'm a 33-year law enforcement officer telling you that right now. Please help us. Let us come together as police with our community and make a change, think outside the box, and do things that will demonstrate, not just in words, but will demonstrate in actions about community conversations. Community conversations will lead to community solutions. Let's start having the hard conversation right now. It's hard, but I'm willing to have that with the Hudson community. Thank you very much.
I want to thank everybody for coming out again. As I look out on this crowd, I see every race, ethnicity, sexuality, everything that our city has to offer. This morning, my phone was ringing off the hook with people in fear for our city about having this demonstration. This same fear is what people of color wake up to every day. Will we be harmed by some out-of-control cop, harmed by those in poverty in our own communities, or harmed by the effects of systematic racism? The fear that I had putting on this event right now, I wondered, it took me back to thinking about how MLK felt on his march to Washington or to Selma, what the night before might have brung, or how many people said, don't do it, or it's going to be dangerous, there'll be instigators. I think about what's happening across the nation, and even over in Albany. I realize there will always be something to fear, but who's going to march on like MLK and others did? I hear people say, it's in Minneapolis, not here. I bet every city said the same thing until it was in their city. I am nervous, yes. Literally, for the first time in my life, I've ever been nervous to speak in front of a crowd. I'm nervous for my city, nervous for the people of color who feel they can't jog, buy Skittles, walk through Central Park, so on and so on. I wanted Commissioner Volkman and the Chief were here with me today because change doesn't happen without police condemning murder. This isn't a protest to say HPD is doing a good or bad job. This is a protest to say from our community to yours, to our people who wear the badge, we are fed up and we want police all over the country to hear our cries. I want Hudson to be a city that instead of saying this is happening everywhere, but instead we say, not here, not ever. I ask our police officers to listen, not to debate or take offense, but to learn. I encourage our community to step out there and make changes. Elect those who speak for you, but also pay attention to those whose silence is extremely loud. I ask that tonight we honor this protest and have a quiet night. Everyone indoors at 8:30. This is not a curfew, but an ask to those who came out to support a movement about safety and solidarity. The fear and intimidation and distractions are evident, but we as a city have to march on. We can all go back to life tomorrow morning and feel accomplished that we came out here today, but that does nothing. This is about peace. But let me make one thing clear. We are hurt, we are mad, we are disappointed, and we will not destroy our city, but we will raise hell to vote and get out and make changes. I'm asking that we stop the violence here at home. A young man was killed in the parking lot over on the side of us and another wounded. I'm asking that we build a future for our young people that have something, for our young people to have something to live for. Now I know I'll receive a ton of criticism for this display, and to be honest, kids, close your eyes, cover your ears. I don't give a shit. I'm not here to be liked, but I'm here to do what's right. Silence isn't empty, it's full of answers. Stop debating with those whose minds we are never going to change. Now, I love this country that I live in, but our nation is a suspect in not protecting its most valuable resources, its people. Now, let me break that down for you. A suspect is having an ideal or an impression of an existence, presence, or truth, or something without proof. Now, I know we have the evidence, and I don't want to debate if our nation is guilty or not guilty, but I will say to you, it needs to be pulled over because it meets the description. My name is Kamal Johnson. I'm the mayor of Hudson. Thank you.